Hello everyone, this is your very own Shumant again, and I welcome you all for the second video from Code on the Coding Particle. This video will be on ABAP on Cloud and ABAP RESTful programming or RESTful ABAP programming. In short, we call it RAP. Okay, so before we start, I would like to mention that on behalf of Code on, I'll be starting this video with a heart full of gratitude to all of you for your immense support and appreciation. So we'll be trying hard day by day just to make this video series better, depending on your inputs, suggestions. These are all welcome. So on that note, we'll be starting today's video. So see you in the next part of the video. Thank you. Hi everyone. Welcome to the discussion on ABAP on Cloud and RESTful ABAP programming model. Okay, so as you all know, cloud is the buzzword these days, right? Everybody is talking about cloud. So from an ABAP standpoint, through this video, we are trying to understand what is actually there for us. Okay, why cloud and how to operate in cloud. So these two WH questions we need to mainly cater to. So as you all know, cloud is everywhere. The whole tech community, the SAP community, is going gaga over cloud, and they are actually on cloud 9 with the emergence of cloud, in fact. And we are trying to understand here, being an ABAPer, the future, how much actually clouded it is for us. Okay, so let's start with a real life example. Okay, suppose, and this section is especially for the newbies who have just joined the SAP world, as you all know. So in order to exemplify why we are going for cloud actually, so suppose I want to send or receive an email. Okay, I need to have an email functionality installed. Should I go for a full scale company to establish just in order to, or rather should I go for creating a Google just to send or receive an email? I have to acquire land, I have to set up data centers, mail servers, switches, routers, I have to write specialized programs, and I have to sustain a series of employees, okay, just in order to send or receive an email. Is this possible? Or is this feasible? No, right? Similarly, suppose I want to have electricity in my home, okay? In order to do that, should I establish an electricity distribution company? Okay, I have to go for warehouses, power stations. Is it feasible? No, right? So what is the solution? Obviously, we will rent from somebody. Okay, for email, we will be renting the services from Google. Thank God it is free, Yahoo or somebody else. Okay, and similarly for electricity, we will be going to some company and rent their services. Okay, so think SAP also as a service. Okay, we should be thinking SAP as a service in order to enjoy SAP. Okay, in order to use SAP. In the older days, what we had to do, we had to have a on-premise behemoth called SAP, right? We had to have servers, we had to have basis people, we had to have different platforms, everything. The whole infrastructure was on us, okay? Just to use the big, bold, beautiful service called SAP. So this is not feasible. Okay, day by day, companies, organizations felt that sustaining such a huge infrastructure at a huge cost is not feasible. Okay, then SAP came with a proposal. So let's have it on cloud. Let's see it as a service, shared service, just like in electricity company. Me and my neighbor both subscribe to the same service. Okay, you and me both subscribe to the Gmail. Okay, similarly, clients, okay, organizations are subscribed to a shared service residing in cloud, and the shared service is none other than SAP. So that is the reason why everybody moved to cloud, okay, and cloud computing, okay, software as service, platform as service, infrastructure as service, okay. So that is the rationale behind going for cloud, okay. Now the obvious question comes, okay, that's fine, it has moved to cloud, so how to operate it in cloud, okay. That's a very pertinent and natural question, okay. What is changing with clouds, okay. So this comes, so this is all you know. This is the renting of services, okay. So this was the first slide, okay, why we are going for cloud, and this is how we are going for cloud. But how to operate it in cloud, we'll be seeing it very soon. Let's start with a daily example, okay, daily life example. Suppose, think of your room. Think this gentleman enjoying his time in his room, big and beautiful room, okay. Think SAP as your whole room. In your room, you have multiple facilities to enjoy, right? You have electricity, you have fridge, you have TV, you have so many things, okay. Home, beautiful home, okay. So this man is enjoying home. Suppose, take this television as an ABAP, okay. SAP is running on ABAP, okay, and it's a very important, ABAP is a very important part of SAP, as you know. In the older days, ABAP was the backbone of SAP, right? It is somehow still is, debatably, okay, but let's see it in the bigger picture. So this man enjoying his time in his home, and this television is your ABAP, okay. So in order to operate the television, okay, in the older days, okay, in the on-prem days, okay, so on-prem is still there, but in the older days, what we were doing as a BAPer, okay, we log into SAP and we have a beautiful SAP GUI logon pad, okay, R3 infrastructure rather, presentation server, application server, database server, right? So we take entry into SAP via the SAP GUI logon pad, and we have AC38, the ubiquitous AC38, and we start writing code over there, okay. So that was the older days for us, okay. And take this remote. So the big room is your SAP, this television is your ABAP, and how do you operate the television, or how do you code? Take this remote as an IDE, AC38, okay, IDE, AC38, Integrated Development Environment. So you operate the television in older days, okay, via remote, okay. So that is the closest possible analogy that I could find, okay. Now, as you know, this was the earlier infrastructure. So people using SAP GUI logon pad, application server, okay, ABAP, and the database, okay. So that was the R3 infrastructure of older days. Now, with the emergence of cloud, your home is on cloud. It is as if it is flying, okay. So how do you operate the TV now? Suppose you want to view the TV, but your home is in the air, okay. So how do you operate the TV now? Yes, you have to have a different mechanism, as because your home is on cloud, SAP is on cloud, so you have to have a different mechanism in place in order to watch the TV, okay. So that means in order to operate in ABAP environment, okay, in SAP Cloud, mechanism has to change. Okay, I hope this analogy is understandable for you. Okay, so how do you operate now? Here, suppose the left hand side room, you have to have a smart TV now. Okay, old TV will not work because the home is in the air, it is on the cloud, okay, on the internet, shared service. So you have to have a smart TV now, okay, or alongside you have, if you want to watch the same TV, okay, just to view it, you should have a webcam installed in your flying home, okay, and from a control room or kind of a thing, you will be able to watch the same TV via online. Okay, so here in ABAP on cloud scenario, your room remains the same. It is the SAP. Only difference is it is flying. It is on the cloud. Your smart TV, that means your ABAP has changed. Okay, it is not a simple TV anymore. It's a smart TV. That means your old ABAP has changed to RESTful ABAP. Okay, and this webcam and this voice command enabled app or something like that. Okay, this person is holding something into his hand, suppose. Okay, this is your way to operate that TV. So what is that webcam and this voice command enabled app? Okay, this is your ADT in Eclipse. So again I stress on the fact that in older days the man was inside the room, on-prem rather, and watching the TV, that means operating on ABAP via remote. Okay, the remote is nothing but your AC38, your IDE, okay, in the older days. But now your home is on the cloud. Okay, so how to operate the TV? Your room remains the same as an SAP. So instead of an old TV, now you have replaced the technology with a smarter one. So it's a smart TV now. Okay, as if the ABAP has changed to a smarter ABAP. Okay, debatably though, but still. So now it is called RESTful ABAP. Okay, and how to operate? Okay, instead of remote, you have a webcam to view it, and you have a voice command enabled thing in order to change the channel or operate the TV. So this is your Eclipse environment ABAP development toolkit. Okay, so I hope I tried my best to present the case with this analogy. So hopefully you will be able to understand it, and please let me know in comments if this analogy is somehow not working. So I will try to present a better one. Okay, so this is all about it. In a nutshell, we are again going back to these two WH. Why to move to cloud, we have understood it, and how to operate in cloud, we tried to have a daily life example in order to understand this as well. So let's come to the nitty-gritties now. Okay, let's go into detail. Okay, so BTP, as you all know, it is something which is having your SAP on cloud. It's a business technology platform. In my earlier video, I actually tried to explain the functions of BTP and other stuff. So you can always go and refer the first video. So, but the point is, why ABAP had to move on cloud? Okay, because the natural answer is SAP has moved to cloud. Okay, but how this whole ABAP scenario changed and why it had to employ ABAP as a service in SAP BTP? Okay, to answer this question, we'll have to read these things. In the last two decades, a huge number of SAP customers and partners successfully kept running their mission critical business with solution based on ABAP programming language. The classical ABAP, sweet, beautiful classical ABAP, okay, has been serving us at least for the last 2 decades, okay. So many customers are still reliable on that, okay. So overnight, this movement to cloud, okay, is not going to be that smooth, okay. So we have to make enough and requisite preparations for that. So naturally, a huge number of custom ABAP programs and tremendous ABAP community has emerged over the last decades, as you can very well understand. So SAP customers moving to SAP S/4HANA Cloud are looking for ways to leverage their investment in on-prem ABAP extensions. With SAP BTP ABAP environment, SAP provides an additional development and runtime environment to use next to existing such as Java or Node.js. So ABAP has competition now. In order to understand it very bluntly, ABAP as a programming language in the SAP world, in the older SAP world, had a monopoly, okay. So now this monopoly is broken. SAP has moved to cloud, so there are other contenders, okay. You can always go to Java, Node.js, okay, in order to code or create an app. So this is mainly called CAPM, Cloud Application Programming Model. So in our next video, we will try to understand CAPM in a much better way, okay. So Java and Node.js has given a very stiff competition to ABAP. So now, as you all know, a huge number of ABAP programs, companies have already invested in those programs, okay. They have hired people, they created artifacts, everything, a whole lot of things are already existing and running fine. But in order to avoid cost and all, companies has moved to cloud. That's fine, but what about those investments? They can't be left as it is, right? Or they can't be considered overnight as a waste, okay. So in order to do that, SAP had to bring ABAP also as a choice. SAP on cloud, you can always go for CAPM and all, but apart from CAPM, you still have a version of ABAP, okay, but it is restricted, okay, it is restricted, okay. So we will get to see how much of restrictions are there and all in our next part of the video. So to conclude or have a pictorial idea, so let's see these things. In the SAP BTP, you have Node.js, Java, full stacks to come. I mean, there can be other additions as well, okay, as a programming language choices. So ABAP is still there, okay. It had a monopoly, but no more, okay. It is one of them now, okay. So this is the new ABAP, okay, the new member of cloud community. So ABAP in a new avatar, okay. So how actually ABAP moved to this, okay. There is an evolution, okay. So this is the evolution of ABAP. ABAP platform, which were less than 7.5 version. So these are all classic ABAP programming with screens, okay, module pools, okay, RFCs, report programs and all, okay. So that was the older beautiful days. So now with the emergence of SAP Fiori, okay, ACGW and all, ABAP platform greater than 7.5 or equals to, as you know. So ABAP changed slightly, okay. ABAP programming model for SAP Fiori, okay. So we had to create OData services. We had to create CDS and OData publish true. Okay, we had to create OData services out of CDS, and for transactional capabilities on OData, the business objects or the OData services, okay, we had to go for a BOPF, Business Object Processing Framework. Okay, so this model also had some drawbacks. The BOPF's part, especially, it was not that user friendly, rather. Okay, so very much dependent on the codes and all. Okay, so in order to sum up things, this intermediate form has some drawbacks. So, and finally, as SAP moved to cloud, S4HANA cloud version came up, okay, with S4HANA 1909, okay, ABAP RESTful programming model came into picture. Okay, so here also we still have core data services, okay, and everything is being considered as a business service. So business services are the first class citizen of ABAP world now. So data modeling and everything depends via CDS and then business service, and the BOPF is being replaced with behavior definition and implementation. So we'll be seeing it gradually. Okay, so this is the classical ABAP, then ABAP programming model for SAP Fiori, and finally this ABAP RESTful programming model. So this is the complete evolution of ABAP, and we are dealing with ABAP RESTful application programming model. Okay, so this RAP ABAP programming model is available for both on-prem, S4HANA on-prem, starting from 1909, as well as private and public cloud. Okay, so this is the new avatar of ABAP, and we'll have to get ourselves accustomed to this style of ABAPing from now on. Okay, so in order to conclude things, every evolution has a collateral damage. Change is the only constant, as we all know it. So there has to be a price of this change. Okay, the ABAP environment is based on released APIs and offers cloud optimized ABAP language that uses programming model based on SAP Fiori and include the creation and consumption of CDS views. This strict decoupling of customer and partner extension from digital core requires the restrictions to the released API of SAP S4HANA and the ABAP environment. As I was saying, ABAP is not exactly the same anymore. It has some restrictions now, because the old TV, if you relate back to the original example, old TV in the old room on ground is being replaced by a smart TV on cloud, so that you can operate it from ground. Okay, so this old TV and the smart TV and old TV has to be different. These two has to differ. So naturally, this is the price of evolution of ABAP. So hopefully this example is good enough to understand the evolution of ABAP and how and why the new ABAP has come into place, and basically how to operate on the new ABAP platform. Okay, so with this we will be concluding this part of video, and in the next part of video we will be getting our hands dirty and we will be seeing in the system how actually this new ABAP or ABAP RESTful ABAP programming model actually works in reality. Thanks for watching till now, and I will be waiting for you in the next part of the video. Thank you.